Today on Indie Gamer TV, we run and gun in a retro arcade side-scroller in Power Stealers. Afterward, we'll play as a cowboy left for dead in the Wild West, in Outlaws of the Old West. Towards the end of our show, we'll enter intense combat and PvP in Beyond Enemy Lines 2. Plus, I have my questions answered from the developer of Beyond Enemy Lines 2. All of this is coming up right now.
And here's your host, Jeff Porter.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Indie Gamer TV, the show where we help shine a spotlight on some of the finest independent game developers from all around the world. I am your host, Jeff Porter. Thank you for watching today, and remember to subscribe if you like the content. Helps me, it helps the independent developers get the work shown, and it just makes the world a better place. Let's all come together. New subscribers this week: Vladimir Vushkevich, Valona Fett, and Andre. Thank you guys for subscribing. If you want to have your name shouted out next week, remember to make your profile public and then subscribe so I can see it and get your name shouted out next week. Thank you so much for supporting the show. So now let's get into our first game of the episode. A throwback to the classic arcade style of the 90s and 80s, where everybody went and dumped quarters into the machine for hours. Here's Power Stealers. According to the developers at Intertum, creators of Power Stealers, this is a run-and-gun game inspired by classics such as Contra and Metal Slug. Anything that is inspired by Contra sounds good to me. If you remember going to the arcade all weekend, eating greasy pizza, and guzzling Coke, then this game might just grab your attention. Power Stealers is a beautiful 90s era throwback to arcade culture and immediately transports you back to that world. I was a 90s child, so it's something I remember fondly, and I had a lot of fun playing this demo. Power Stealers is a story about Norad and Osfrid, colleagues who took different paths in life due to combating ideals. Osfrid comes in contact with extraterrestrial life and conspires with them to create an army. Norad must stop his old friend and recruits the help of your playable characters, Lars and Hannah, apprentices of Norad and part of the Interplanetary Defense Project, aided by the help of their Shenbot, a small robot with advanced artificial intelligence. Now you must battle through 5 unique retro-style levels with simple and straight-to-the-point action gameplay, challenging boss battles, and of course, local co-op play. It is simple enough for anyone to pick up and start playing, yet still has a challenge that fans of the genre will love, like getting killed by one shot. Thankfully though, if you do die, you don't have to feed the machine any of your quarters. Simply press the spacebar to continue and experience the whole game. Play solo or grab a friend and co-op your way through, shooting aliens, blowing up machines, jumping off moving vehicles, and taking down Osfrid. No quarters were harmed in the making of this game. By the way, you always think of quarters, but does anybody remember the nickel arcades? I remember my dad would give me like $5 and pick me up like 2 days later. I'm just kidding, but you know what I mean. Comment below. Let me know. Did you ever go to a nickel arcade? Because I know I'm not making this up. It was a thing. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for days. Anyways, back to Power Stealers. You can download a free demo right now. The link is in the description below, of course. And now for the sweet Oreo filling of the show, the middle game, the sweetness. Let's get into Outlaws of the Old West.
Do you walk in the Valley of Kings? Do you walk in the shadow of men who sold their lives to a dream? Do you ponder the manner of things in the dark?
Cowboys and Indians is a story or game almost as old as time. Since I was a kid, I wanted to be a cowboy riding my noble steed and taking out bad guys. Thankfully, due to many great titles, I've been able to live this out. Like the great game Gun, the Red Dead Revolver series, Call of Juarez, and many more. The older I got, the better the games were, especially with Red Dead Redemption 2 latest release. Along with the games getting better, the older I got, I still had the same urge to be a cowboy. And now with another great title to add to the ranks, Outlaws of the Old West will definitely reel you in. Now you might have seen this title on Steam and noticed a lot of mixed and negative reviews outweighing the positive. I'll admit myself, I was a bit skeptical, but I wanted to experience it firsthand anyway, despite what others may have said. My review in short is, I like it. Before I get into it too much, it is important to note that this is a pre-alpha title, only currently on version 1.6 or so. So with much more to implement and bugs to fix, I think I can confidently say it has a bright future. The story begins with you stuck in a coffin. Yes, a coffin. You've been left for dead, and you awake to a vulture peeking into a glass window left in the wood. I suppose this is so you can see the sunrise one last time before you die? I'm not sure, but at any rate, you don't die today. You bang on the lid and loosen the nails until you emerge a free man or woman. Now what? That is the response a lot of people have given the game. And now you do what you want. It's a sandbox survival. You can farm, build your empire, capture cattle, befriend horses, craft, fish, hunt, the list goes on. In short, it's a game where you decide your own adventure. Play solo or in online servers. The developers offer basic PvE and PvP servers. Plus, many players rent and run their own servers. So it's up to you and your playstyle and where you want to go. Once in-game, it can be a bit overwhelming at first glance. There are so many crafting tables, each with its unique recipes to further your world building. To begin though, you'll just want to craft some basics. Gather some wood and stone on the ground and build your first stone axe, pickaxe, maybe a bow and some arrows. From here, it's off to the races. Gather your resources to build your first crafting table that unlocks more wood recipes. The more you craft, the more you unlock. So build your base and wrangle up some horses. To capture a horse for you to ride, you must first craft a lasso, which you can then swing around and try to grab a horse. Next, a bar will appear with a highlighted area to click in. Do this 3 times to capture it, and you'll have 3 attempts. Once you have, voila! Press E to hop onto your horse and ride around the enormous world. It's giant. It's a big world. Craft different saddles to increase your horse's storage, and remember to feed and water them. Alright, so I know I mentioned it's a survival sandbox. You thought we'd make it through a whole show without me mentioning a survival game? You should know me by now. Yes, Outlaws of the Old West does have some survival aspects, such as maintaining hunger and thirst. You can do this through many means though, like farming, fishing, and hunting. And remember to feed your livestock as well. There's still a ton that I didn't get to, but the show must go on. Shoot bandits, mine, chop down trees, build guns and swords, go hunt, build giant houses and even entire towns by using the mailbox in-game to purchase prefabs complete with NPC traders inside. The limits are almost non-existent, and for only $20, you can experience it all too. For the price of 1 modern AAA title, you can buy 3 keys of this for you and your friends. Think about that. Okay, enough with Outlaws of the Old West, let's keep the show rolling. Alright, you made it through the survival genre bit. You're okay, it's gonna be fine. Outlaws of the Old West is only gonna get better, and I can't wait to see all the things that they're gonna implement. It's fun now, and I just can't wait till it gets out of pre-alpha. For now though, let's move on from cowboys and jump into the heat of modern battle. Here's Beyond Enemy Lines 2.
2008. At 0600 hours yesterday morning, contact was lost with Abkhazia, an autonomous region south of the Greater Caucasus. Intercepted radio messages talk about heavy military activity. We still don't know how it stands on the damages, and the origin of the occupying forces is unknown. And this is where we come in.
Take the role of a special agent deployed deep beyond enemy lines, where terrain and conditions are barbaric. You will seek, locate, and destroy the enemy while causing havoc and confusion. Experience a hardcore tactical experience in vast, non-linear missions where skill and decisions matter. Beyond Enemy Lines 2 is a great combat shooter game developed by only one man. Let's start with the single-player campaign mode. Explore vast, non-linear levels, from densely forested areas to small enclosed hallways. You are free to complete the objective your way. You have complete freedom. Go in guns blazing like Rambo, or move silently through the level like Hitman. Inside the single-player campaign, you'll experience over 10 hours of a story, large open-ended missions, replayability value due to dynamic AI, detailed mission ratings of your achievements throughout, choose from over 20 different weapons, have complete customization of those weapons with 9 unique attachments, and drivable vehicles for large battlefields. The single-player campaign will take you through a thrilling adventure that you can revisit time and time again. Now, of course, what most of you have probably been waiting for from this game is the multiplayer mode. Beyond Enemy Lines 2 features great modes for online lone wolves or a team of friends looking to work together. Join in enormous battles and conquest, a large-scale game mode for up to 32 players fighting to control different objectives. The team holding the most objectives is in the lead and will drain the enemy's tickets. The team with the most tickets left at the end of a round wins. Kills and objective captures will reward you with money, which can be used to buy new weapons and equipment. There are no predefined classes. Or if this battle seems like too much to join in, there's a classic round of Team Deathmatch. One of my favorite modes is the online co-op mode, where you can join up to 3 other friends or strangers to fight against the AI in specially designed missions. Or you can let the random co-op mission generator generate a unique cooperative operation deep beyond enemy front lines. With numerous ways to play, including an in-depth single-player campaign to unforgiving multiplayer, this is for gamers who are fans of COD and Battlefield, but are looking for something different and maybe a little bit cheaper. For all the content available and a one-man development team, Beyond Enemy Lines 2 comes in at a very modest $24.99. And if you hurry now, you can get it for $20. But the sale ends Thursday this week. Are you gonna pick up this game for $20 by Thursday? You definitely should, and if you do, let us know in the comments below. Beyond Enemy Lines 2 is an incredible feat for a solo developer. Luckily for me and you, I got a hold of him, and I got to ask him some questions about his game. I'm gonna ruin his name, but just stick with me. Developer Daniel Wengeneroth? We'll go with that. I think I did all right. Don't hate me. He didn't have time to sit down for a video or a audio chat because launch date was just August 8th. He's been super busy dealing with all that, but he did send me some text answers that I'll share with you now. Can you tell us about some of your inspirations behind Beyond Enemy Lines 2? The most inspiration came from Project IGI and other early 2000 tactical FPS games. I just love the way how basic but challenging and intense they were. Something I deeply miss from most modern games is that they are easy. Even on the highest difficulty, they're not challenging at all, but reward you with achievements and unlocks for opening a door. I wanted a game going against the mainstream formula, developing a rough, challenging, and punishing experience. You will feel great once you completed a mission in Beyond Enemy Lines 2, because you know you faced a challenge. What were some of the biggest hurdles in development? The biggest hurdle is being alone. There is just no one who can help you or you can talk to about problems. Sure, there are forums, but they don't know my code I've been working on for 3 years. And I'm doing some very complex stuff in Beyond Enemy Lines Sandbox. Realizing you are the only one who can solve this one issue and there is no one who can help you. This is frustrating and definitely been the biggest hurdle. Can you tell us a little bit more about the dynamic AI? The AI in Beyond Enemy Lines is very unpredictable. There are barely any scripts defined in the missions. Some enemies have multi-branching patrol paths attached to them. Others have several spawn points to choose from. I can combine the features to create a single enemy who can spawn at mission start in several different locations and then pick from several multi-branching waypoints, which also can be combined together into a giant patrol path. When I start a mission I have designed, I never know where all enemies are. AI has a built-in morale system. Based on the damage and threat the player creates, they can react differently, search for cover, flank you, call a reinforcement, regroup with other enemies and build a squad, or just panic and upfront attack you. How they flank you or search for cover is not predefined in their missions. Everything is calculated at runtime. You might have seen some shot clips out of Mission Editor from Battlefield or Call of Duty. Those maps are full of nodes and information how the AI needs to behave. Beyond Enemy Lines 2 map lacked 90% of those nodes. The AI is capable of doing everything on their own, and so even I don't know what's happening. How can players go about setting up their own dedicated servers, and how can they access it? There are two ways of setting up a server. The easiest is from within the game, and you host a peer-to-peer server, which is online as long as you play. Dedicated servers are nearly as easy to set up. You only need to open a port in your firewall, launch the dedicated server launcher, set your desired options, and launch the server. There is a small help section within the server launcher going into more details. What sets Beyond Enemy Lines 2 apart from other games in the genre? Beyond Enemy Lines 2 is a fairly unique shooter. It's difficult but easy to control. Missions are large and you are free to complete every objective in any order. There is no hand-holding. You need to scout the environment on your own, make your own strategy, and observe everything. Beyond Enemy Lines 2 is easier and more action-oriented as Arma 3, but slower, and by far more difficult than mainstream tactical games. It's designed for players who want a deep tactical experience, but don't want to learn the complex nature of military simulations like Arma. This is also underlined by the weapon customization system. It works like in Crysis. With just a few and fast clicks, you can attach a scope, laser, and silencer to your rifle, and you'll have a sniper rifle within seconds. With this, you can adapt to new situations faster than switching to a new weapon and even have more freedom. If you have the skills, and you really have to have some, you can play Beyond Enemy Lines 2 very action-packed, but you also need to sneak around and go silent. You have total freedom. Your action is rated after each mission so you can compare it to the total target results in your own and start all over again. But now the enemies are in a totally different place. Who knows how the same mission will play out this time? Well, I want to give another thank you to the developer of Beyond Enemy Lines 2. It's too bad that he couldn't join in for a video or audio chat, but I want to thank him for his time and sending me over these text answers. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Indie Gamer TV. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys found out some new games that you haven't tried yet, maybe not even heard of. So check back next week for another episode full of indie games, developer interviews, and as always, thank you for watching Indie Gamer TV.